So welcome to this webinar, SysPro to e-commerce. Thank you for coming. Good to see so many of you here. I know you probably come with a variety of different questions, things you're hoping to see and learn, maybe ask questions as we go here. So we're excited to have a real interactive session. We've got a great group of experts here that I'll introduce in just a minute, representing some great solutions and services. And I think, as an outcome, I think you'll have a really good understanding of some new tools available to you, some ways to better serve your customers, and some people to ask questions to as you face challenges maybe in the future. So welcome. Please drop any questions at any time in the chat. Again, we want this to be interactive. We want you to get as much out of this webinar as possible. So if your question is not answered, it's probably because you didn't ask it. So please ask any question. We'll cover as many as possible. I know some of our panelists will, interrupt and answer questions on the go. We'll also save time at the end. We are all being quite diligent about being brief so that we have plenty of time at the end for questions. Again, so you get the most out of this. All right, let me introduce the team here. You'll be hearing from each of these folks. I'll let them go deeper into what they do and the technologies and services they offer. But we've got Robert. He's the Chief Partnership Officer at iPass.com. We've got Billy Dreyer, Associate Channel Manager at Orderful, Jason Burge, Strategic Channel Partnerships at BigCommerce, and myself, Cody Norris, Head of Solutions here at Wagento. So I will not give an all-encompassing summary of how each piece fits together, so that you stay tuned as we go along. And I think without further ado, let me hand it over to Robert and take it from there.
Thanks, Cody. Well, and thank you to everyone that's tuning in, and to the Wagento team for organizing this, and Orderful and BigCommerce for participating with us. That we often hear in the SysPro ecosystem about how integrations have historically been difficult and expensive to both build and maintain. And my personal goal for today is to show you how integrating best-in-class software with SysPro is now easier and faster and more cost-effective than it's ever been. The other speakers that we have, the other panelists, will definitely be going deeper into some of the best-in-class software that you can utilize side by side with SysPro. And I'll be taking you through a little bit of the how we get to that point. So with no further ado, some quick background on iPass.com. And as Cody said, I head up partnerships and alliances. So I'm looking forward to some interesting questions today about how we work with SysPro and with the ecosystem. But iPass.com is a modern next generation integration platform as a service, iPass, if you will. We're built with a hub and spoke approach. And so that's how we're architected, which is really unique in the integration world. It's definitely that next generation of modernization to how we all think about integration, as opposed to the old reactive, I need to get data from point A to point B. It's about cohesion and being able to bring all of the data together, have it flow in all the directions that it needs to. And so one integration to a SysPro instance can flow data with as many other pieces of software as your client needs, without having to go back and reintegrate SysPro over and over again. And that just builds a lot of possibility and the opportunity to keep evolving with the iPass.com account. You can turn on new spokes to the hub or swap out spokes. Let's say the customer is on Salesforce today, they want to switch to HubSpot tomorrow. You're going to turn on the spokes that you want, turn off any that you don't, and all the others remain intact. No more throwing away all that integration work and going back to square one. So really a little bit of a paradigm shift from the way that a lot of people have been dealing with integrations historically. And that hub and spoke approach, as we've detailed a bit here, it's more than just making it easy to add and remove integrations. That you're getting data moving in real time with multiple systems at once. making maintenance easier, not just the setup of integrations, but the ability to maintain one API connection with a system and flow all the data and maintain that. And at the same time, you're getting predictability that with our model, we're providing iPass.com at a flat monthly rate. Prices are up on the website, full transparency. And so you're getting a winning mix when it comes to bringing clients a better total cost of ownership of their integrations and of their software stack. Now, with iPass.com, you're getting a low code experience. And so we've got, an intuitive user interface that you're able to log into, that all stakeholders can log into, to see the data flows, to see the settings, and to make various adjustments. And even in one of the screenshots that we have up for you right now, you can see where you can toggle on and off different data flows, thinking about, does this user need customer data, order data, product data, different data flowing in different directions with different systems. So it's really about the ease of use and the speed of being able to pivot, as that user has different needs. We all know that business today is moving and changing faster than ever, and so being able to deliver on that becomes exceedingly important. The way that iPass.com works, you start with flexible templates. And so if you were to come in and turn on a SysPro integration, we have a lot of the traditional fields that will typically be used already mapped and set up. And from there, you're able to adjust and edit to your heart's content to meet the spec of the client. And so that's going to involve everything from field to field mapping, kind of simple get, field from an ID field over here to a transaction field over there, down to dynamic formulas and being able to really transform data in more unique ways. So there's a lot of flexibility that it's really built to allow you to meet whatever the client's specifications and needs are, and not have your hands tied. And so that's important to the process, that we're giving you that springboard by having these templates. But then imagine, every, business may have its own unique product attributes and other fields that need to be mapped and other business rules to be considered in the process. And whenever data fails to flow successfully, we have real-time notifications built in. Those pieces of data stay in queue. We're a queue-based system. They automatically retry. And so you can get real-time notifications through systems like Slack and Microsoft Teams, know that there's an issue, get out in front of it. We're not waiting for merchants to figure out that orders aren't making it to the warehouse and aren't being shipped out and customers are frustrated. You already know in advance what's going on, where the origin of the issue is. We've got all kinds of debugging information available. And so it's really, for our partners, about being able to be proactive and being able to really generate that client success and that cohesion with the client, that, keeping them happy, that we know that integrations traditionally have often been a point of friction. They become a little bit of a black box and a bottomless pit. And in this case, we're flipping the script on all of that. iPass.com, we're cutting down on the timelines and costs for integrations and allowing you to provide, your clients with more bang for their buck, more integrations, more powerful integrations. Our platform is built with mock architecture, without throwing too many buzzwords out there. That is to say that it auto scales in the cloud, and it's highly resilient. It's also API first. Everything that you can see and interact with in our user interface, you can interact with through our APIs. So it gives all stakeholders that visibility and control over integrations, and allows more of your team to see what's happening and assist with client requests. That we're, I'd say in many ways we're democratizing that experience, so that it's not only for a senior developer, although there are those opportunities to utilize coding and to utilize those development skills within the platform. These are examples of some of the integrations that are available through our marketplace. We've got a wider list on our website, and we're always launching more. A few of these are actually coming soon, a few new product information management systems, for instance. And so we really listen to our partners and, adapt around their clients' needs in terms of what's being added to our marketplace. And, we follow market demand. But we also have an open SDK. And so there are cases where our partners are able to write integrations, whether for one-time private use for an individual client or to launch an integration in our marketplace, more like, thinking of it like an app store. And the brings a lot of flexibility where you can leverage what we have, but the sky's the limit. That using our open SDK speeds up the process of integrating software, and then again, you're getting the real-time error handling and the visibility of the platform and the ability to have whatever that piece of software that's being integrated talk to lots of other pieces of software. So we see that as really a big piece of of how we're operating and how we're bringing value to our partners. So this is actually an example of what you might see in practice, where we've got SysPro integrated as the ERP, Orderful for EDI, HubSpot for CRM, ShipStation for fulfillment, Klaviyo for digital marketing, Avalara for certain sales tax management. We deal with Avalara with their sales tax exemption certificate management, Akeneo for product information management, BigCommerce for the e-commerce site, and the ability to have all these systems intertwined. Imagining orders coming down from BigCommerce and going to SysPro for fulfillment, but also going to HubSpot so the sales team is getting visibility into those client or customer orders as well. And so data can flow to as many places as it needs succinctly without going back and having to redundantly get that same data over and over again and maintain all those one-off integrations. So we really see a lot of value to how that really shapes integration and simplifies and really condenses all of the work that needs to be done and all the maintenance or ongoing considerations for it. So I had a partnership. So this is maybe the most exciting slide for me, that we have a managed integration service provider, MISP program. And that's really what's built to support the service providers, the agencies and consultancies and MSPs and and SIs and all the different kinds of organizations that are there to help users with integrations or have these challenges to be met. And so we're really all about bringing resource to our partners, helping you to tap into recurring revenue opportunities, and making sure, perhaps most importantly, that you have the resources that you need, whether it's the training and certifications or different support through the sales and implementation cycles to be successful. So whether that's setting up joint Slack channels or Microsoft Teams or working to review things that your team's working on, where it's always important to us that you're successful, that we're building great case studies together right from the first project. So that's a lot of how I spend my time, is making sure that we're extremely effective at that. And I think, the other panelists would say that, we're highly engaged with our partners, and it's very important to who we are and what we do. So I'll leave off here. That you'll hear a little bit more about this one with BigCommerce. It's a joint client, but Star West Botanicals, we can share a case study after the webinar. But it is one of our SysPro clients, and is a great example of how we're bringing value to a merchant by really revolutionizing the way that they look at integrations and the way that they experience integrations. Taking it from being a major pain point to being something that is bringing operational efficiency and success to the business. And with that, that'll take you through my portion of the presentation. As you've heard, we'll have some time for QA at the end. I'm happy to schedule one-on-one calls with any of the teams that are tuning in, so that you can have a live demo of iPass.com, so that we can share more information about our partnership program. But I'm going to turn it over to Billy from the Orderful team, and Billy's going to be able to tell you all about how Orderful is revolutionizing the EDI space.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Robert. Hello, everyone. My name is Billy Dreyer. I'm an associate channel manager here at Orderful. I'm going to be talking to you today about everyone's favorite topic, EDI, a little bit about how it's been done in the past, how Orderful approaches EDI, and how we're different from legacy solutions. So here is a little bit about Orderful and a deeper dive into who we are. We have supported over 265 million EDI transactions. We have over 5,000 trading partnerships in our network, and that number is consistently growing. So I just wanted to provide a bird's eye view of who we are before we get straight into it. So as you noticed on the first slide, Orderful is the fastest way to trade EDI. As a quick overview, EDI has always been something that's had a black box over it in terms of the complexity and the visibility difficulties that come with it. And Orderful eliminates these aspects from trading EDI entirely. And we do that by focusing on three things. First, we simplify your EDI integrations. So traditional EDI mapping is dead with Orderful. Manually creating a map for every single trading partner and every single document type is a significant time sink. Orderful eliminates this. Second, we reduce your onboarding times and costs. Traditionally, it can take between 8 to 20 weeks to onboard with a new trading partner. I've heard some horror stories of 9 months or more. With Orderful, you're looking at 9 days or less. Lastly, we're a bridge for enterprises to adopt API principles. So this is, just another way of saying that digital transformation is a big thing these days. Everybody is moving to the cloud. Orderful is EDI on the cloud. So this is exactly what Orderful does. You're going to connect to our API. We validate your data. We're going to tell you it's correct. Convert the data from JSON to EDI so your trading partners can ingest that. And then we will put it back into JSON so you can ingest that. And we're going to handle all of the communication channels, which is going to allow you to trade with whomever you'd like. So let's talk a little bit about how EDI works right now. So right now, depending on where your data lives, this data has to come out. You have to write custom business rules, look at document types and specs that your trading partners are giving you, and you have to map that data to each individual data point that they require. So on top of this, you also have custom communication channels. So for example, if you and I are both trading with Walmart, you're drop shipping to Walmart and I'm sending my materials to a Walmart warehouse, they might ask us to trade over 2 different communication channels. You could be an SFTP, I'm an AS2, whatever it is, it's different per trading partner. So after all of that is when you can do those custom requirements, ultimately just ensuring that your data is compliant. So with any other EDI provider out there, it can take around 20 weeks to go live with a new trading partner. That is because the system of record integration has to take place. Your data needs to be pulled and transformed. Somebody at your company needs to understand EDI and X12. They need to then gather the necessary guidelines, understand them, and then know what communication channel you're having to trade with. After all of that is when you can build those custom maps we were talking about. So with that said, what takes the longest time with EDI is testing. So you sit down, you figure out what it's going to take to communicate, you build that map, and then you reach out to your trading partner and say, hey, is this right? And on average, there's between 5 to 13 errors that could happen, and you're going to have to go back and forth with them to locate these errors. And worst case scenario, you could even get a chargeback for wasting their time. So now we can get to the fun stuff. How does Orderful do EDI? So how Orderful does EDI is completely different. That system of record integration has to take place. After this, you do 1 integration per document type, access Orderful's network, and you're good to go. So for example, let's talk about an 850, which is a purchase order. You're going to do 1 single integration for a purchase order. You'll say, hey, Orderful, I'm trading with X, Y, and Z. And Orderful will tell you every single requirement that you need to integrate. So you're going to integrate 1 time, and you don't have to touch it again. What's happening behind the scenes on our end is we take those 50 to 100 page PDFs, we digitize them onto our platform, which means that before you even go to ask your trading partner, hey, is my data correct? Is this accurate? Orderful will tell you exactly where you have made a mistake. So I like to use this example because I'm based in Charleston, South Carolina. But let's say that you're trading with Target and Walmart. Target might want you to say South Carolina. Walmart might want you to use SC. So you can write a simple business rule inside of the platform to change that rule. So every time you trade with Walmart, you can make it so that the wording is automatically switched from South Carolina to SC to satisfy their requirements. And because we're constantly validating, you know your data is right before you even send it to them. And this is a really significant pillar here at Orderful. And I know what I just said might sound a little bit complicated, but I do want to touch on the accessibility of Orderful. So anyone who knows how to use Excel can write these business rules. Nobody needs to be an expert in EDI. And this is how we get customers to onboard with new trading partners in 9 days or less. So I wanted to provide a very concise and easy to digest view of Orderful versus the legacy providers. So the things that I mentioned, we're tech powered. Custom mapping is dead with Orderful. You do one integration per document type. You're going to have that real-time validation. You have control of all of your data and integrations. Very predictable pricing. We do not charge by transactions. So if you have a month or a quarter where you're 2,000 transactions over what you anticipated, that's not something that you would get penalized for at all. Less than 9 days to onboard with new trading partners, and UCC shipping labels included for free. Finally, I wanted to share a customer testimony. With Orderful, we've routinely set up new partners within less than 5 days. Much of that is because so many partners are already in Orderful's network, which makes it easy to establish new connections. As I mentioned earlier, our partner network is consistently growing. It's also available to view on our website. If it is not there, we can have it up there within 24 hours if we have their guidelines. So that said, thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll keep the ball rolling and pass it on to the next speaker.
Hi, thanks so much, Billy. I appreciate it. Jason here with BigCommerce, and I have worked for a long time with iPass.com and Wagento and a number of other partners here. So I'm very excited to talk a little bit more about BigCommerce if you're not familiar with us. One of the cornerstones of BigCommerce as a platform is a combination of the two most important things that we're looking to deliver as a monolithic platform: a strong enterprise capability for B2C and for B2B, as well as a cost-efficient and future-proof model. We are what we call open SaaS, which means that we have the most robust set of APIs on the market in order to keep us flexible with our partners, as our partners are extremely important to us. As you can see, we have over 1,000 tech partners, 5,000 agency partners, over 150 countries served, and we're publicly traded. Our goal is to continue this type of flexibility while we add every year more and more features that make us more and more competitive with the top enterprise platforms that are out there today. Looking at where our targets have been, traditionally, we've got about 70,000, 75,000 clients today, where most of them are still in the SMB space, where when we launched in 2009, that was the model. But now we are very much a contender in the enterprise space. But we do see in spaces where from the 1 to 50 million GMV, we are an excellent choice because it's very easy to get started with BigCommerce. If you've ever looked at the back end of it, it's comparable to more something like a Shopify to the unaided eye than something that's more developer intensive like Magento. It allows them to get spun up very easily. But when we're looking then at our more growing market, the 5 million to 100 million, which is really more our sweet spot, this is an excellent space for us because we can empower our clients to be headless. We can to go with the mock version to allow them any sort of CMS that they want to drive things forward and put BigCommerce in the space where it's most successful to them to succeed. And so this is where we often compete with Shopify. Moving into the larger, more $100 million to $500 million GMV, this is the longer standing brands. And we often see a hybrid of B2B and B2C here. And to this space, this is where we see Adobe or Salesforce Commerce Cloud often. But in this space, we're really differentiated by how simple it is to have both a B2B and B2C implementation for BigCommerce under one space, rather than having to run multiple sites or have differentiation and complexity from site to site. And then, of course, our true enterprise brands, we're always punching up in this space, but we are absolutely well suited for companies like Procter & Gamble and Johnson & Johnson to be able to support them across the board. The truth is that we are very strong, whether they are very new or very untechnically savvy, all the way up to some of your more powerful brands in the world. And here's a list of some names that you may be familiar with. A lot of these are more on the B2C side, but I want to get more on the B2B because I understand that's probably where in the SysPro world we're going to be seeing the most opportunities. Our ideal client profile here, because B2B is our by far and away largest area of growth, is from these GMVs from 3 million to 6 billion. And we're spread across a number of industries that are, I think, strongly overlapping on the SysPro side. And our growth in this space has been consistent year over year. Recently, last year, 24 medals at the Commerce Solutions for B2B. We were the top there. With Forrester and Gartner, we are consistently in the top 4 and a leader with IDC MarketSpace and ranked leader by IT professionals for software reviews. And we are every year getting closer and closer to the top. Specifically, looking at the G2, we are in the top quadrant for B2B. This is because it's such a focus for us and because we are so narrowly focused on e-commerce, whereas a lot of our competitors are off in a lot of other spaces. It has allowed us to leapfrog some of the incumbents like Salesforce and SAP. So these are the things that we consider our differentiators. We are natively developed for B2B, so everything is scalable. It's very easy to start off with a nascent sort of B2B implementation and add on continued customizations to allow the utmost of enterprise features. We are versionless API first, but not API only. So we are the lowest total cost of ownership. We have the most applications in our app store available for a simple download. That are fully integrated, and every one of those is vetted by our development team. We have the flexible mock architecture that is on the cutting edge of all future-proof tech these days. This open, headless, and composable system allows any range of manufacturer from small to large to be able to use our platform to the utmost standards of the modern B2B e-com architecture. And of course, we have invoices, quotes, buyer portals, and workflows out of the box. So this is where we see our space as far as manufacturers, distributors, and wholesalers. Our leadership, how we listen to our clients, our open SaaS model, our D2C and B2B hybrid model, as well as our partner-centric viewpoint, which is why we're here today with some of our most important partners. This is a brief snapshot of some of our B2B customers, which you may or may not be familiar with. But I want to dive right into some of our features. And this is what the packaged B2B edition looks like. If you're adding that to your standard BigCommerce implementation, we have Sales Rep Masquerade, which allows streamlined B2B purchasing. You can log in on behalf of your company. You can access shopping lists and add products to carts and place orders seamlessly. We have payment visibility control. The ability to control B2B sales, manage approved payment options, including purchase orders, credit cards, for the smoothest purchasing experience. Easily restrict access to any user and allow them to apply our corporate account, creating a seamless experience for all of them. It's easy to set buyer roles and permissions, revolutionizing B2B way of putting together a tailored experience for customizable buyer tier. An invoice portal that accelerates payment processing, and we have a number of payment processors that have a variety of different feature sets that make this easy. And seller quoting and discounting is a feature set, boosting B2B sales, shared shopping lists to allow you to transform B2B purchasing and manage multiple shopping lists for easy retrieval, and previously saved products and departments. Another feature that we have is multi-storefront. Any user can add up to 20 stores based on an individual BigCommerce implementation. So that'll allow you to create unique categories per store, view and manage customers and customer groups within a single place, view and manage orders within a single place, view storefront analytics and generate reports, and allows you to connect different domains, apply different themes, widget scripts, set a default currency per storefront. Really, the sky's the limit there in this distributed model. And the B2B2C model is also very strong with this build. And we do have a number of clients that are using both, where they have a B2B model and a B2C model. We can seamlessly put that together in one implementation and just make things based on the user login. As for the buyer portal, this was built with both the hybrid and peer-to-B use cases in mind. It's a no-code implementation that allows you to do B2B, B2C, or both registrations. Will block pending company accounts from placing orders or seeing products and pricing until they are officially approved. There are 3 different registration forms here that allow you to differentiate between the business types, and each form can be customized for really a type of hybrid experience that you cannot get anyplace else without a lot more development and customization. Along with some of these other major requirements for any B2B business out of the box, we have the bases covered here in a very, very simple implementation. And this is a look at the architecture for the product. You can see here at the bottom, we have SysPro listed. We have a very, very complex and easy to use API layering that's two-way. We have the least metering of any other competitor, and iPass.com sits in that space to manage all of these different PIMs or CRMs or other solutions that may require integration to keep that away from your team for the headaches that that might cause. And of course, at the presentation layer with the Wagento to build and have the options of using Catalyst or Makeswift, which is the new product that we've acquired that will, by Q1 of next year, have us far ahead of the curve on the composable side of things from a stencil or a template standpoint. It also allows marketing teams access to make changes to the front end that are unprecedented before in terms of ease of use and lack of threat to anything that the other teams might have been managing. So what you have here is something that allows you to make changes very easily in any types of adjacent solutions and to empower both a complicated B2C or B2B site without the additional development work that it might normally put on a more complicated architecture. And this is a great case study that we wanted to talk about. I actually was involved directly in this one a few years ago. I used to work at iPass.com, and when StarWest came in, they were using they had 2 different implementations of Magento that they were trying to work things out, and they had a complicated model. They're one of the largest suppliers of organic mechanicals in the country. They have a very extensive, diverse selection of items, and they're working in B2B and B2C markets. So this was a lot of work to try to move them off of this very complicated build to BigCommerce using iPass, but it was very successful. It now allows them to basically scale on this modern infrastructure, have the type of access they wanted for their merchants that are on the B2B side while still giving the type of B2C experience that they needed, and the total cost, what they were spending on Magento versus what they're spending now was a drop in the bucket. It was a major upgrade for them, but it really was a revolution for them. It was great to be part of the project. It was one of the things that brought us all together to say, we've seen the success with iPass and BigCommerce and SysPro. There has to be more opportunity here for us. So we wanted to learn more of where these types of businesses might be that we all can bring together a solution and help. And from there, I will turn it over to the Wagento team.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jason. Appreciate it. Again, thanks everybody for being here. Our piece of the puzzle is that we're the general contractors, right? So, you can call that a development agency, e-commerce agency, whatever you might want to call it. So we're here to support in collaboration with VARs like yourselves, so that we can put the pieces together as necessary. So I know Robert probably will cringe a little bit because iPass is not the hub in this, but of course it will be the hub in its role. And the bottom line is whatever pieces your client needs of this mix, we can help with. We can make those introductions. Obviously, you'll have everybody's contacts here, but Wagento, we really see ourselves as coming alongside our partners, whether they be VARs, marketing agencies, whoever is serving that end client we come along as the technical support and the sort of general contractor for all things website. So that's where we fit in the mix. And our objective, before I further introduce us, our objective is to complement what you're doing for your clients. So one of the really cool things about our rev share program and our partnership program is that a lot of our specifically marketing agencies or other partners that are kind of focused on one side of serving the client, but they don't have the development agency, the development resources in-house. Maybe they're not as familiar with e-commerce, but they see an opportunity for their client. To scale a big old internal e-commerce team is kind of outside of their wheelhouse. That's where we can come in and add more revenue for you with our rev share program. You see a need, you introduce us. If we do, business with your client, in tandem with you, we'll share our billing with you. So you can make money, you can better serve your client, and we'll walk with your marching orders so that it's not disruptive. So that's how we fit. Who we are, more specifically, an e-commerce development agency. So e-commerce websites and content websites are our specialty. We develop, we integrate, we maintain. We do highly customized. We can also do more kind of, starting from scratch with BigCommerce. For those that are just dipping their toe in the water with an e-commerce experience. We've got operations, spread across the globe so that we can work 24/7 as needed, and lots of certifications and wonderful PMs. Our clients are vast majority in the U.S., so that's really our focus is U.S. e-commerce, and we also do some government and higher ed work as well, quite a bit, but. So that's us, as an overview. The differentiators, just quickly, again, we recognize the danger of introducing a partner and finding someone else to serve your clients with. It's a dangerous thing. It can be a scary thing. So some things that we, have kind of built in our business to protect our clients, to protect our partners' clients, are fixed cost estimates. So that way, out of the gate, the client knows what it's going to cost to get the requirements met, and we stick to that. So we even, with our budget integrity guarantee, we will pay our customers, if we go over budget, a month of their revenue. So we really hold our own feet to the fire to say the project stays on budget for the items in scope. So that really helps businesses make decisions confidently. And we can be very flexible around maintenance plans, payment plan. All of that is sort of secondary to what is the solution that's needed. How can we scope that effectively and bring the right people like this talented crew to the table? So lots of experience on BigCommerce. We are a BigCommerce elite partner, B2B specialized. So the majority of our work in BigCommerce is B2B, and I think it's our favorite place to work in the BigCommerce space. We love the tool, the platform for that specifically. And you can see some logos, sites we've built in that space, some B2B, some D2C here. But the integration landscape, again, we're very familiar with and work quite closely with folks like iPass.com and quite closely with BigCommerce and their team in customizations, kind of pushing the limits of what BigCommerce can do, and really utilizing its open APIs and flexibility to achieve the requirements. Quick story around a B2B, again, B2B e-commerce merchant came to us struggling on Wagento, lots of high costs in maintenance, challenges with ordering payments, and ultimately just, as you heard from Jason a minute ago, the frustration around not being able to make marketing changes on the front end over where they were in Wagento. And so they were eager to get, to BigCommerce to leverage a lot of the flexibility and sort of out of the box wonder of BigCommerce. And so we helped them make that shift fairly efficiently and quickly, considering the size and complexity of some of their features. It was a just a really successful project for them, and now they can breathe easy and focus on actually growing their business and not just maintaining a complex tech stack. So fun to help these folks that help truck owners convert their engine from gas to diesel, help them convert from Wagento to BigCommerce. Handful more clients. You'll recognize a lot of the D2C again from some of the enterprise space, some household names here for sure, and then quite a few in the same space that BigCommerce plays so well. That sort of 5 million to 100 million, specifically in the B2B landscape is where we really play well, and a business kind of construct that we really understand well. So lots of information here. Please drop questions in the chat. We do have 15 minutes here. As each of us come with different solutions, lots and lots of time and effort and expertise put into solving the particular problems that each of these logos represent. We recognize that perhaps with your customers, there may be one or more problems you're facing or they're facing that they've clued you in on, that these tools might be able to solve or at least address. And so for us, the goal here is educating you all. I know that there are areas of expertise that you have that none of us have, and yet in each of these lanes that we represent, we've got expertise. And so, a slam dunk for us in this session would be to help you understand some of these different areas with regards to EDI, integrations, e-commerce, e-commerce for B2B, and the way all of those tools interact. We would love to bring clarity to any doubts or questions you may have. This QR code is a link to grab time with me. You've got the contact information of the other panelists, but for ease, I'm happy to be the quarterback. Would love to support you guys, even if there's just one of these logos that you need to chat with. I will make the introduction. I can speak from relationship with these different people on the panel that we're here to help and not be a frictionful salesy cycle, but get you the information you need, because we believe very strongly that these tools for the right use cases are no-brainers. And so if your use case is something that we can help with, I'm happy to educate and let you kind of guide what you need in that process. Any questions? We'll go ahead and give some pause here. Maybe awkward, but I'm sure you all have seen many use cases that we've touched on, perhaps some challenges faced with solution sets that we touched on or maybe didn't. We'd love to hear from you on what you're seeing and how you think these tools may or may not solve problems your clients face.
Cody, I did see a question in the Q&A asking about any rev sharing. I can share from our side that our MISP program provides commissions that are in a tiered program. And so depending on whether you're the referral source of the account, whether you're servicing that account and helping with implementation and ongoing support of the iPass.com account, that there's a bit of a scale. But for instance, if you're the referral source and the MISP and the team that's helping with the iPass.com account, it's going to range from 10 to 20% of the iPass subscription, of that monthly subscription, aside from any other bonuses or any other incentives that we put in play. And of course, maybe more importantly, on top of the hours that you're selling for that implementation, for assisting the client with their integrations.
And from our side, our rev share program is 10%. So we pay 10% of our billing to the partner that referred that client to us.
So Rod, hopefully that gave you some insight. We'll take a look. Any other questions? Someone did ask about the next slide, and we were trying to save transition time for all of you. So if anybody noticed, we're all having a good time, but taking all the feedback that we're getting through any of the Q&A here. I see another question came in from Rod asking about getting an understanding on costs for clients. And so Cody, I think, your team would be able to take the lead on any cost structure for building a BigCommerce site and the fees associated there. You can also speak to the iPass.com pricing, but I'm certainly happy to jump in on any of that. Billy, I imagine that you do the same with any of Orderful's pricing and how that would roll out.
Yeah, our pricing is on our website. I can drop a link just to our website in the chat. That is the easiest way to find that.
Yeah, I'll do the same for ours.
And ours is going to be case by case. I can tell you that the more basic requirements, for a B2B or D2C site, again, kind of a first an MVP on BigCommerce, we can build for very affordably. I mean, maybe in the 40 to 60,000 range, kind of a, basics. And then, depending on the integrations, the number of storefronts, the number of location, countries, et cetera, it can get a lot more complex from there.
And we have retail plans that are small and they grow up to, larger enterprise. And that has largely to do with total order volume and average order price, number of storefronts, whether or not B2B is being used. And the Wagento team is very good at pricing all that out.
I'll just reiterate, if you have a client with a requirement, a problem, a challenge they're facing, and you've got questions on how one of these solutions might be able to help, the platforms and providers represented here do not steal your sales cycle. We will move at your pace. We will not reach out to your customers without your permission, et cetera, et cetera. We understand how this works and the sort of tender balance in it. And so we really believe in giving you the answers you need and then standing by.
I think one of the things is for everyone here joining us is that I think the first step is reaching out to Cody, to Wagento and the rest of the team, just reaching out and learning a little bit more about that rev share program, building up that partnership. You may or may not have an identified opportunity or client that wants this this implementation done or this solution. So, but if you don't have it identified right now, it does not mean that you won't see that need in the future, especially now with knowing that we do have a full tech stack to support that solution, which is it's a great opportunity for your clients and for yourself. So that's so I would say just reach out to Cody, maybe put back on the QR code, schedule a call, and let's get that partnership going. Let's give you guys more questions, show you more case studies, show you a little bit more of our work and what we've done and how we can support you and your clients.
Yeah, and I will say, I know BigCommerce, Jason would say the same thing from BigCommerce, but we see a lot of B2B merchants, well, not merchants yet, B2B businesses that are curious to explore what doing business online would look like. And again, BigCommerce is a great path for those types of businesses. And an implementation, again, say 50,000 to, if they want to go all in with all the systems and locations, et cetera, 200,000 maybe. 10% of that pie paid to you for the referral can be a great thing for you, and more importantly, a really great thing for your client to make that foray into e-commerce.
Yeah, it's the largest area of growth for us right now. It's the largest area of growth for e-commerce worldwide. And with the simplicity now that's available in some of these platforms, particularly BigCommerce, it's more attractive than it ever has been.
Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions. Thank you all so much for coming. I really hope this was educational. please grab that QR code or my email address there. We're available to you for more questions. If you've got questions for any of the team, I will direct you that way. And we look forward to staying in touch. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, team. Great.